Hi students, today in this video we are going to study about the crop production and management. This is the first chapter of class 8 science. This is the first part in which we will be dealing with some of the processes, some of the works, some of the tasks which involve in the agricultural practices. We will not be able to include all the agricultural practices in this session, so you will have to watch the next video for the whole chapter. Okay, so what is agriculture and when did the agriculture start? Do you know any idea? Do you have any idea about that? Agriculture start millions and millions years ago, but before that people were used to go from one place to another. They were not constantly settling somewhere. They were known as nomadic, that is, moving from one place to another in search of food. So when they get food and shelter somewhere, they will be settling there for few days. When the food is over, once the food is finished, they will be moving to some other place to get food. That is, in search of food, they will be moving from one place to another. That's why they were known as nomadic, and after some time they started settling at a particular place and thus started doing agriculture. That is the history behind agriculture. Now, what is crop? Crop is related to agriculture. Crop is a word which is related to agriculture. When plants of same kind are grown and cultivated at one place on a large scale, it is called a crop. For example, you can tell wheat is a crop, rice is a crop, vegetables are another crop, fruits, cereals, all these are crops. Then when do they are known as crops? When do we call them a crop? When they are grown on a large scale at a particular place and at a large scale. The same plant, when they are grown at a particular place on a large scale, that time we call them a crop. When same plant is grown in a particular place, a lot of plants should be there, that is on a large scale. At that time we call it's a crop. And in India, we know that we are having different seasons in different parts of India, and different parts of India will be cultivating different crops, isn't it? You're familiar with that. Some southern side will be having so much cotton, paddy, rubber, all this, and the northern side we are having wheat, sugar, paddy, all these things. So depending about the climatic condition and geographical status of the place, the agriculture different in different places of India. So here we are going to divide the crop into two according to the season. According to the season, we are going to divide the crop into two different sections, that is Kharif crops and Rabi crops. So it is according to the season. Kharif crops, the crops which are sown in the rainy season. Kharif are those crops which are grown in the rainy season. We know that in India it's generally starting from June to September. Kharif season is from June to September. Paddy, maize, soyabean, groundnut, coconut, all are coming under Kharif crops. So Kharif means rainy season. Season is from June to September. And example, paddy, maize, soyabean, groundnut, cotton, etc. Next comes Rabi crops. So Kharif in rain means Rabi. Of course, Rabi crops will be in winter. So the crops grown in the winter season are called the Rabi crops. Examples. Can you guess the examples? Yes, wheat, gram, pea, mustard, linseed. All these are coming under the section Rabi crops. So those crops which are grown in winter season, they are called Rabi crops. Their time period may from October to March. In case of Kharif, it was from June to September, and in case of rabi it is from October to March. So these are the two main main classification of crops based on the season. Next one, we are going to study about agricultural practices. Practices means works, task. So what are the different tasks or works which are involved in agriculture? Agriculture doesn't mean that only one work is the sirf planting, only planting the plants. No. It's a system of different tasks. It's a union of different tasks. So many different tasks are involved in agriculture. So agricultural practices means those activities which are done during the agriculture or cultivation of a plant or crop. They are called agricultural practices. Agricultural practices means activities. The activities or task, we may call it task or activities which are done during the cultivation of a crop. They are known as agricultural practices. So same agricultural practices may be following by you at your home, kitchen garden. First you will be tilling the soil, then you will be sowing the seed, you may be adding some manure, and you will be adding water, putting water every day, and if there are some unwanted plants you will be removing that, and when the fruit or the vegetable which comes you will be harvesting, and you will be using and storing whatever you want. So all this comes in the large scale business or agriculture also. In large scale agriculture also same processes are going on. So we are familiar with the processes because we are also doing it at home, in our kitchen garden we are doing the same things. So it is not a difficult task for you to remember all these things because all are familiar to you. All these tasks are very familiar to you. Okay. First one is preparation of soil. Next one is sowing, adding manure and fertilizers, irrigation, protecting from weeds, harvesting, and finally storage. So we'll start from preparation of soil. What and all things, what and all tasks or activities we will be doing for preparing the soil to accept or welcome the seed. We have to make the soil prepare to welcome the seed. If it is a waste land, if it is a barren land, if it is a dry land, if you are putting the seed, will it be growing? No. So in order to make the soil welcome the seed, we will have to do some task on the soil. The first one is preparation of the soil. We have to till the soil, plow the soil, turn the soil loose. We have to make the soil loose. That is, turn the soil and loosen the soil. Loosen it. We have to make the soil loose and soft. Once it is loose, it allows the roots to penetrate deep into the soil. If the soil is very tight, the roots will not be able to go deep into the soil. Once they go deep into the soil, they will be getting a lot of water from here and there. They will make the plant strong and erect. The loose soil allows the roots to breathe easily even when they go deep into the soil. So once they go deep into the soil, they will get plenty of space to get oxygen. They will be breathing through these spaces in the soil. The loosened soil helps the growth of earthworms and microbes present in the soil. If the soil is tight, no microbes or earthworms will be able to survive in such a kind of soil. If the soil is loose, earthworms, microorganisms, all these things of soil friendly organisms will be living in the soil. That will be useful for the soil. Understood? So why we are tilling or plowing the soil? To make the soil so loose. Why we are making the soil loose? If the soil is loose, the roots will be able to penetrate, go deep into the soil and get nutrients and water, and earthworms will be easy. It will be easy for the earthworms to survive in such a kind of soil. It will be easy for the microorganisms to live there, and it will be easy for the roots to breathe when the soil is loose. Next in, why does the soil need to be turned and loosened? Okay, why does the soil need to be turned and loosened? Same thing only. Turning and loosening of soil brings nutrient rich soil to the top so that plants can use these nutrients. There is another point, that is when we turn the when we make the soil upside down, the nutrient rich soil will be coming to the top of the ground, surface of the ground, so that it can be easily absorbed by the plants. Tilling or ploughing, the process of loosening and turning of the soil is called tilling or ploughing. So this kind of turning upside down, turning of the soil is known as tilling or ploughing, and it is done using an apparatus or device or an instrument called plough. You might have seen, it's familiar to you, you might have seen this plough in the field, and it helps the farmer to mix up the nutrients also. Once the ploughing is done, farmers will be adding nutrients also, so that it will get easily mixed up with the soil. The manure or the fertilizer, whatever the farmer is adding to the soil will get easily mixed up while ploughing. So tilling has a lot of advantages. Tilling or ploughing has got a lot of advantages. And you might have seen, the farmers will be leveling the field after ploughing. After ploughing, they will be getting a lot of crumbs of soil, stones of soil or crumbs of soil, and they will be breaking it using a leveler and make the field leveled. Okay, and there are a lot of agricultural implements like plough, hoe. All these agricultural implements are used to make the cultivation or agricultural processes easy. Nowadays cultivator is used. Cultivator is also used for ploughing, and if it is used, it can save labor and time. It will be faster. The ploughing process will be faster if cultivator is used. Okay, next one is sowing. Sowing the seeds. Sowing the seeds means spreading the seeds or putting the seeds in the field. That process is known as sowing. And the sowing will be done nowadays by a seed drill. Have you seen the seed drill? This is the picture of the seed drill. In that, ploughing or also at the same time sowing also can be done at the same time. It has got a lot of advantages. Okay, so seed drill is used for sowing with the help of tractors. It will be connected at the back side of the tractor, sows the seeds uniformly at proper distances and depths. It's a very important question. What is the importance of seed drill? If seed drill is used or it is connected to the tractor while doing the ploughing, seeds also will be planted in the soil. Okay, at a time two processes will be going on, ploughing and putting the seed in the soil. And if it is done in that way, the seeds will be put at particular distance between them, by keeping particular distance, that is an equal distance will be there in between two seeds. They will be added or put uniformly at proper distances and depth also, distance and depth. They will be put in the soil at a particular distance and also at a particular depth in the soil. Ensures that seeds get covered by the soil after sowing. After sowing, if it is kept exposed, it will be taken away by some birds or animals or by wind. If some soil is put over the seeds, it will not be taken up by some animals or wind. It will not be blowing with the wind. So in order to make sure that it is there in the soil itself, the seed drill will be putting some soil on the seed. So it's very efficient one, it's very important one, seed drill. A lot of advantages are there for using the seed drill, one is seeds will be planted at a particular distance by keeping a particular distance in between them, also a particular depth. They will be planted at a fixed depth. And another thing is that the seeds will be covered by a little bit soil so that it will not be taken away by birds or animals or wind. It prevents damage caused by birds. Sowing by using seed drill saves time and labor. Labor will be reduced, time also will be reduced. So this is the picture of the seed drill. Hope you remember it. Okay, next one, what we are going to study is manures and fertilizers. You are familiar with the word manure and fertilizers. What are manures and fertilizers? They are those substances which are added to the soil in the form of nutrients for the healthy growth of the plant. In the agricultural field, this cultivation will be going on for years and years. So what happens? All the nutrients will be taken away by the plants. They will be utilizing the nutrients from the soil. So this nutrients will be finished. So in order to replenish the nutrients, we have to add nutrients to the soil. In order to balance this loss, we have to add the nutrients to the soil so that the next time plants will be able to get the nutrients from the soil. So these nutrients that we are adding to the soil are known as manure and fertilizers. They are different. Manures are different from fertilizers. We will study how they are different. So manures are fertilizers. What they are doing the same purpose. They are the nutrients. They are substances which are added to the soil in the form of nutrients. So manures and fertilizers are nutrients which are added by human beings to the soil. Okay. So the continuous agricultural practices, continuous cultivation will cause some loss in the nutrients. So in order to balance the loss, we are adding manures and fertilizers to the soil. So now we are going to study about the differences between these manures and fertilizers. You might have studied in lower classes about manures, vermicomposting. Do you remember that? Manures, how vermicomposting was done, compost pits. Yes. So fertilizers and manures. Manures is a natural substance. Manure is a natural substance obtained by the decomposition of cattle dung, human waste and plant residues. When plant residues or human waste or cow dung is kept for some time undisturbed, microorganism will be acting on that, converting into humus-rich manure. They are full of humus. It can be prepared in the field itself. Manure can be prepared in the field itself. No need of any factory or no need of any industrial area. Manure provides a lot of humus to the soil. Manure is produced by the activity of microorganism. So they provide a lot of humus to the soil so that it can hold, its water holding capacity is very, very high. Manure rich soil can hold a lot of water. Its water holding capacity is very high. And manure is relatively less rich in plant nutrient. That is the only disadvantages. They will be relatively less in rich nutrients, plant nutrients. They will be having a lesser amount of nutrients than fertilizers. So it is so that it is needed in bulk amount. Manures we will have to add. If we are adding a handful of fertilizer, we will have to add a sack full of manure. In that way we have to add a lot of manure because manure has only lesser amount of nutrients. So we will have to add a lot of manure to the soil. Now we will be going to the fertilizer part. Fertilizer, it's a chemical, inorganic salt. That is, it's a chemical. It's an inorganic salt prepared in the factory. It is a chemical actually. So since it is made in the factory, we know that it may be causing some pollution also. Water pollution, land pollution, all these pollutions will be created by fertilizers, whereas no pollution is created by manure. That is also an additional point. Fertilizer does not provide any humus to the soil. Fertilizer is not able to provide any humus to the soil because it is not a bioorganic thing. But whereas manure, they produce humus. They are the product of action of microorganism. They are bioorganic, they are. And fertilizers, they do not provide any humus to the soil. So their water holding capacity also will be very less. Fertilizers are very rich in plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. NPK fertilizer, you might have heard about that. NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. So that since they are rich in this kind of plant nutrients, they are needed in a small amount only. That is the advantage part of this. They are needed in a small amount only because they are rich in plant nutrients. So I hope you understood this video, enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel and wait for the next video. Bye bye.